Hi everyone, this is Holly from Hot Humble Pie. Welcome to my Christmas series. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you click that button. For this next DIY, you're going to need some material, this printable, a hoop, and some wooden beads. Here's the free printable. It will be down below in my description box. And it is off of the clip art from Microsoft. I just changed it up a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and link you to mine since I put it in a circle because you're going to need a circle for this craft. Here's the cloth that I use. That is a really good deal. I'm doing a shout out. You're probably going to have 3 to 5 days to take advantage of that because I notice when YouTubers do shout outs for products, Amazon sellers often respond by raising the price because there's a sudden surge in demand. So go ahead and take a quick peek and see if you're interested in that. There's some beautiful fabric pieces in there, and it comes in around the same as the Dollar Tree fabric, only it's, there's a lot, in my opinion, nicer choices. So I trim it, and then I'm going to save 2 little strips there that I'm going to use for part of my bow at the very end. I'm using a little bit of hot glue. This was printed up on cardstock. It has really fine detail, so I chose cardstock because it is a smaller craft. You're not going to see it. But this would also look very pretty printed on fabric. If you have a printer that's designed for small details, that would be awesome. Looks good either way, so don't worry about it. The cardstock works fine. And when you glue your beads down, make sure you space them ahead of time and place them where you want to be, because you might run into a situation where you'll suddenly find you don't have enough room to stick the final bead in. I've had that happen, believe it or not. I think everybody has when they craft. So always plan ahead and space that out. So now we're using the Dollar Tree adhesive pearl wrap. This comes in little thin strips. They're little tiny pearls. And when you cut them off, you want to cut right up to the edge. They're attached by little plastic type threads. You can see I'm trimming them off there to get more off because this is going to be a trim in a minute on this hoop, and I don't want any of those plastic threads. It should look pretty clean like this when you're done. And now I'm just taking and sticking them on the outer edge of the hoop. This part's totally optional, of course. I did need a little hot glue at the beginning and the ending to secure them, but other than that, they stuck just fine with their own adhesive. And this is what you should have so far. Now I'm leaving the screw at the bottom on purpose because I'm going to use that to tie the bow on the bottom. It's a perfect little anchor for that. And I'm going with a messy bow again. I'm really loving these. I just love that you can add so much variety into them and get like a vibe. I love that. So I did some Dollar Tree ribbon. The ticking stripe is from Etsy, and I also tied in some of those. Remember, I cut 2 little strips from the material, waste not, want not. I stuck that in there as well to tie it into the craft. Just tied it in the middle, and I'm going to tie it on the bottom of the screw. They really are that simple to do. And this time I chose not to dovetail the ends, not to do anything with the ends, because that's the look that I'm going for. I think that's why I like these so much, is because they're so individualized and kind of eclectic. You know what I mean? You can just make whatever energy you want with an accent piece. Although I absolutely adore the Dollar Tree items, they are not always the best deal. Check out these berries. They are so big and juicy and shiny looking and beautiful, like the camera doesn't do them justice. And I got 300 pieces for $9.98. I also got some pine because I was on the hunt for real pine and berries that looked real. I found some awesome pine on Amazon, same thing, 30 pieces, and they're as thick as what you see in that picture. They're not enlarging them. Look at the chunky, I'm using them right here. They're absolutely gorgeous and they look real, and that rivals the Dollar Tree prices. So for those of you that don't live by good Dollar Trees or don't live by any at all, there you go. Lastly, I'm going to take some twine that I twirled a little bit of hot glue on the end with, wait till the hot glue cools down of course, and put a beaded hanger on it, and I love this. For this next DIY, I'm using a Dollar Tree mason jar, some paper, and this clip art copyright free printable. He's really cute, but he does have an American flag hanging off of him. So for my international viewers, I will leave a link down below in my description box to all of the vintage prints so that you can choose your own Santa. I'm starting off with a glue stick. It's just a Dollar Tree glue stick, but you have to be extremely generous and cover every last square inch of your surface. And I'm gluing this paper down. Now this paper is also going to be down in my description box. And I'm just taking and trimming the edge of the paper here, but it made me think about those of you that don't have the mason jars in your Dollar Tree, or my international viewers. I have done a mason craft before, a mason jar craft, and I just traced out the shape of the mason jar and used cardboard, and I recommend at least 2 layers so it doesn't bend. That's about the same thickness as the Dollar Tree sign. Maybe it's even a little thicker, but you can cover this mason jar with, old fabric or paper that's bigger and put little slits around the edge and then cover the edges that way. But the point is the mason jar crafts are perfect for duping it with cardboard because you can cover the edges. So I just took that music paper, which is from Hobby Lobby, burned the edges to make it look antiqued, cut my little Santa out there as close as I could to the edge. And I'm showing you here that if you miss some of the little fine edges there, it's super easy. You just lift it up and you can apply the glue stick and glue it down, and he sticks perfect. And now I'm taking some of the Dollar Tree burlap ribbon and I'm going to put that on the top for the lid. Now I'm using some of the Dollar Tree raffia that I found that's in like a deep burgundy red, and I'm tying it in a knot because I want to wrap this at the top of the mason jar, and it's just going to give it a little bit more for the hot glue to hang on to so that I can glue it nice and tight around the back side like this. And there you have it. That's what you get. So for me, it works better when I tie the raffia together. And now I'm using these Dollar Tree bows. I think they're so cute, these little buffalo check bows that I found on my last haul. And I'm going to go ahead and take the ticking striped ribbon. Now this is wire on the edge. I don't want the red border. I don't want the wire. I just want a completely different look. I'm just taking 2 pieces. I trimmed off the edge border there that was red, and I'm kind of gluing them crisscross over a little bit of raffia and then the buffalo check ribbon on the top. And then in the middle, I'm going to be gluing down the lace. Now I did the lace here because for some reason in real life it just looked too flat and plain, the little ribbon legs coming out, so I chose to put a little bit of ribbon there. And I have these 2 little mini pine cones off another craft that I used to embellish, and a little bit of greenery to cover the big blob of hot glue, but I think this is such a cute Christmas piece. For this next one, you're going to need a jar, some fake snow, and some Epsom salt. I just took some of the Dollar Tree snow and some Epsom salt on top. I did it on top to hold it down because the snow is kind of fluffy and staticky. Same reason I used 2 applesauce cups, you guys. That Dollar Tree snow sticks everywhere, and I wanted to be able to throw the containers away afterwards, so I just used 2 applesauce cups to shake it and mix it. And some Mod Podge. And I did about a 50-50 mix there with the Epsom salt and the snow, maybe a tiny bit more snow than Epsom salt. Now this craft has been around for a while. I've seen it on Pinterest for at least 2 Christmases. They usually do it with glitter and Epsom salt, which looks absolutely gorgeous too, but I've never got around to making it, and I want one of these. But I thought it would be fun to try it with some of this fake Dollar Tree snow and to share it with you all so you can see how that version turns out. Now it does end up looking like crystals. It's absolutely gorgeous actually. So do not hesitate to get some of the Dollar Tree snow and do this craft. I think I might like it a little bit more than the glitter one. But anyway, I'm just showing you how simple it is. If you find you miss a spot, it's that simple, no stress to fix it. And then after this is dry, I go ahead and take some of the Walmart twine because it's a little thicker. You can use the Dollar Tree twine. That's fine. That, that will work too. But I go ahead and cover the top of the jar. I saw this on Pinterest again, so this is my inspiration. I'm kind of copying what I saw. I loved the look. I made a twine bow out of the Dollar Tree twine, and then I'm tying 2 little pieces of greenery on the top of it. Now, I don't know why I didn't glue the greenery down. I think I was worried it might resist staying down, so I tied it on there to make sure that it stays with the bow down on the twine, and then I press really, really hard. And again, here are those beautiful berries. I used those for the berries on here, just 3 of them, and that's pretty much it. This is a beautiful holiday luminary. I did have to spray it twice with a clear varnish so that the little pieces don't fall off. I tried hairspray, you guys. It wasn't working, so you definitely have to use a little bit of varnish on this one. And I'm just taking some greenery to hide the glue again so it looks more expensive. And that's it. It came up so, so pretty. For this next craft, I'm going to finally make use of this little wooden piece I found in March 2020. It was half price day, so I got it for 50 cents. I mean, it has good bones, you guys, but I just didn't know what to do with it. And this is some paper left over from the inside of some wrapping paper. So again, waste not, want not. It's super thick. If you find this instead of the cardboard roll inside wrapping paper, keep it because it makes great backings, really thick, like what's on a professional painting for the back of your crafts. This had some felt on it because I think it was a little drawer. I tried to scrape it off, but not enough came off, and I wanted it to look nice in the back, so I went ahead and covered it. And I'm using these paint sticks. I love these paint sticks because they don't have that little design at the top with the grooves, so you don't waste as much. You can just use the whole paint stick. And I'm just needing to trim a little tiny bit off because I'm going to be putting this inside the box. Now, I'm not looking to do a shiplap where it's side by side. Totally different look I'm going for here. I just want to do some stripes and add a little bit of character to this window box. I also think it's important to note that I did use the yellow hot wood glue for this part, just so that they don't pop off. You can find me on both Instagram and Pinterest. I went ahead and took my homemade chalk paint. If you want to know how I made that, the link will be down below in my description box, and I gave it 1 coat of paint. Now, if you don't have a shadow box, you can use a Dollar Tree one. You can glue several of Dollar Tree ones together and do another version of this craft. And you can also make the entire shadow box out of paint sticks. And if you watched my video, 10 awesome paint stick DIYs, I made a tray. I made so many different things out of paint sticks, crates. Very similar principle. If you need some tips, go check out that video. And now I'm using antique wax now and a blush brush. That is a blush brush. It's my favorite way to apply it. I got smart this time and I added some water to the wax so that it didn't skid. The glide factor is beautiful when you add a bit of water and it dries super fast. So I much prefer it this way. Highly recommended method. It's 1 teaspoon wax to about a 1/4 teaspoon of water or more, depending on how you want it to glide and how thin you want it to be, but it worked great. Here's another one of those hoops. I just took the middle one out this time. It's the same hoop that I used in our first DIY, but this time I took one, the set, and I just took one of the little hoops, the part without the screw, for this wreath form. So I have a lot of them, so I thought I should start using them up. And I'm just wrapping it up with some Dollar Tree pine. After you're all done with that, you're going to need to give your little wreath a haircut. That's a good trick when you're dealing with cheap pine. It helps to trim it down. Flocking helps too. This is some eucalyptus I hunted down on Amazon again. You know, if I find a deal that's better than the Dollar Tree and I feel it's better quality, I am going to pass it on to you guys. This is 3-pack. It's a 3-pack and they're 17 feet. So you just get a whopping amount. And here is the thing. I mean, you just pull them off. They just pluck right off. And for me, again, if you don't craft a lot, it's not going to be worth it. But for me, these are extraordinarily good deals. So I am going to pass it on in case we've got some mad crafters out there that are also looking for good treasure hunts. So I'm just taking some hot glue here and gluing this all over the top of that pine. And that's what we end up with. Next, I'm going to use these storage containers that you find in the office supply section at the Dollar Tree. They're 4 for $1, so they're a very good deal. You could easily dupe those with some little cans, though, if you wanted. And I'm going to use some of this paper from the Hobby Lobby shop. Now, you could also use wrapping paper for this, and I don't know why I didn't think of that at the time, because I actually have red and white striped wrapping paper, but touche. But these are so small that seriously it won't matter what kind of paper that you glue in there. It doesn't have to be super high quality thick paper, but I'm using what I have. I also found these wood shapes at my last shopping trip. So cute, the little snowmen, and I'm going to paint their bodies white and their hats black. Now I want to keep these guys looking very old-fashioned and vintage, so I didn't want to go with a lot of color. The only pop of color we're going to do is the little carrot nose. The rest of him is just going to be black and white. And here's the tree I found at the Dollar Tree on my last haul. I wanted to show you guys. I didn't know they did this. They are rainbow colored when they illuminate, and they change colors. So I thought they were just white. So I just want to show you because I was surprised in case some of you did not know that. And I'm taking the bottom of those same trees, wrapping them up with some of the Walmart twine, taking a little bit of flame there to burn off the extra hairs, and I'm using the stronger adhesive here. You know, the yellow wood glue that glues plastic and metal and glass, and I'm going to glue these guys down in the center of those little tins. Now I did turn one vertical, little stripes, and one horizontal just to make it different. We're going to tie on my wreath with some ticking stripe ribbon that I got from Amazon. This one has a little bit of sparkle in it. It's perfect for Christmas. And then we're going to glue down the 2 Christmas trees inside this box along with the snowmen. And lastly, we're going to take this Dollar Tree Mary sign and glue it in the center of the wreath. I absolutely love this. It's a makeshift shadow box, but I think it came up gorgeous. Let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And as always, until the next video, breathe deep, fret not, and do things that make you happy.